And they got a whole bunch of stuff. They're just like
Okay, so we are still factoring. We are factoring trinomials when our a value is larger than 1. Another method is called grouping. So you have to use this method for today's homework, but when we go to take our quiz on Friday, you can either use this method or the one we learned on Thursday. Okay. So the way I do grouping is I want to multiply my a and c values together. So I need to identify what my a, b, and c are. So a is the number in front of the x squared, so that's b is in front of the x. And then c is the number all alone. So I want to multiply those two numbers together, so that's 3 times negative 5. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to look for my factors of negative 15 that add up to my middle number of 14. In other words, I'm looking for my factors of AC that add up to B. Okay, so I'm going to write out my x. What number goes up top? And my number on the bottom? So what are my factors of negative 15 that add up to 14? Okay. So now I want to rewrite my b value using these factors. My quadratic should end up with 4 terms when I do this. So my first term is going to stay the same. I still have 3x squared. And instead of writing 14, I'm going to split it up into 15 and negative 1. So I'm going to have 15x minus 1x, and then my end number stays the same, so still minus 5. Then I wouldn't use this method. I'd probably factor out a GCF if it didn't have a c, because it have x's together. So you could factor out an x. Okay. So then I want to group my first 2 terms together and my last 2 terms together, and then factor out their GCF. So first I'm going to start off by rewriting this. And then I'm going to put my first set in parentheses together, and my second set, including the sign in front of the number. So what number do they have in common here between the first set of parentheses? Anything else? 3x. They both can be divided by 3. So then that one, I'm going to write 3x on the outside, because that's what I divided by. What is 3x squared divided by 3x? I'm just looking at this first term, so 3x, 1x. So I'm just going to write the x. 15x divided by 3x? No, just 5. The x's cancel out. Okay, on my second group, what can I pull out? Negative 1. Remember, I always want to make the first part positive. So I'm going to write minus 1 in parentheses. Which is going to give me x plus 5 when I divide by negative 1. Okay. Not quite. There's one more step. So you notice how both of these have the end part? The same end part? I can rewrite it to my 2 outside pieces. are going to become one factor, so it's going to become 3x minus 1. And then I write the repeated part, the x plus 5, I write it once. So I'm undoing the distributive property here. So if I'm not sure about my answer, I can always go ahead and check. So in this box over here, I'm going to rewrite my factors that I got for my answer. And then I want to go ahead and FOIL. So I'm going to take my two first terms, 3x times x, which is 3x squared, 3x times 5, negative 1 times x, negative 1x, or just negative x, and then negative 1 times 5. Okay, and then I just want to combine my like terms in the middle. So 15x minus x is and then I still have that minus 5 at the end. So, is this what I was originally factoring? So I've done it correctly. Okay, so I'll do one more example with you guys. For number 2, what's the first step I want to do? Okay. So what are my A, B, and C values? Okay. Then what? So I want to take my A and C values and multiply those together. So I'm going to do 2 times 12. So then filling in my x, what number goes up top? And on the bottom? Okay, what are two numbers that multiply to positive 24 and add up to negative 11? So remember, if I can't think of these, I can use my calculator. So I can go to y equals. And then I want to clear out my equation if there is one there. I'm going to do what I want to multiply to, so the 24. And then I want to divide by x. Remember, x is this button right here. And then I want to go second graph. And I want to add up these numbers until I get negative 11. Notice, if I add up these numbers together, it's going to give me positive numbers. So if I scroll up, I want to add those together. And my choice, or the ones that make negative 11 is negative 3 plus negative 8. So those are my two factors. Then what do I want to do? Huh? Not put them together. We already found that. That was negative 3 and negative 8. Yeah. So I want to split up the middle, so not put it together. Yeah. So it's 2x squared minus 3x minus 8x plus 12. Oh, that is a typo. That should be an x. Okay. Then what? Okay, so what can I take out of my first group? Just out of this group, what can I take out? Just an x. Because 3 is not even. So then I want to write an x out front. And then, bless you, what's 2x squared divided by x? And then 3x, or negative 3x divided by x? Just negative 3. And my second group, bless you, what can I take out? Larger. I'm going to do negative 4 because I always want to make my first number positive. Oops, I wrote that in blue. So what's negative 8x divided by 4? Positive 12 divided by negative 4. Bless you. Minus 3. Okay, and then for my final step, what do I want to do for the final part? Yeah, x minus 4, 2x minus 3. This is actually just undoing the distributive.